I guess they're coming out on a 3-game winning streak after they dropped a bunch of games, and watching them on film, they seem to be getting a good rhythm and chemistry of what they're trying to do, and they got 2 guards who can really play, Artis and Omega, guys who can really score at basketball, and Omega can shoot it, and Artis is really good off that bounce, and I got a couple kids around that rim are big, a couple 6'11", 7-foot guys around that rim that are good, so they're a good team, playing well right now.
Coach Floyd said that you changing up defenses, getting a little more confident defensively.
Yeah, there's no question. Their last 3 games, they've had a good rhythm and chemistry what they're trying to do. They're going to man you, they're going to box them on you, they're going to triangle into you, and bunch of things like that to keep you off pace. And they were much better the last few games than they were those earlier games for sure.
Artis leads their team in a lot of statistical categories. How do you see your guards being able to take care of it?
Well, I mean, we got to do a good job on point guards, keeping them out of that paint. That's always not an easy thing for us to do. Hopefully we're better at home sometimes when you're on the road doing it. Artis is a good shooter, not a great shooter, but he's really good off that bounce. And we've got to keep him out of that paint and limit the amount of times he creates easy plays for everybody else. And that's a big key for their team too. He gets those post guys easy baskets because of his ability to get in that lane.
How important is it you guys take advantage of all these home games, have to play something on the road?
Hey, listen, it's an advantage for us just to have some home games. Any home game's important. In our situation, they're all important, every one of them. No easy games, home or away, but no question, being at home, getting some games now. I think what we got 5 out of next 7 or 7 out of 11. What is it? Is it 5 out of 7? Hey, that's good. I know I heard Zach in my radio show the other night give a stat. I really hadn't thought about it, that I guess in the last 2 months we've had 4 home games. Is that correct stat? Well, I guess in the next month we'll have 7. We'll have a whole lot more we've had for sure. So to answer your question, all these games are important for us, no question. And they all count the same. They all count 1 win, 1 loss. But when you're at home, you got to find ways to win your home games.
I think his name is Matt Williams, the big guy for UTEP. How do you see your post players matching Sanders averaging double figures this year?
Well, he's a big young man. 7 foot, whatever he is, big body, and scores that right shoulder left-hander, and he's big around that hole. We got to make him move a little bit in transition, maybe move on some ball screens, make him guard some things. He's probably not the quickest, most athletic post guy we've been against, but he's a big, strong, physical guy around that hole. So, we've got he's kind of their third go-to type of guy, him and Thomas. But he's a guy around that hole they look to throw that ball to a bunch, and he's very effective.
You ever take a look at the standings?
I really hadn't even looked down at the standings right now. I know middle, going through it, I know middle and UABs, if we've been through most of them so far, we haven't played Louisiana Tech and Rice, but no question Middle Tennessee is the best team we've played, and throw UAB and Marshall right in there behind them. And I know middle's undefeated. UAB lost 1 the other night at Florida International. Outside that, I don't know a little bit. I hadn't studied it because I know it don't affect us right now where we're at. And again, sometimes when you look at those things, they're a little bit misleading. Who's played who where? Have you played the top people in the league, home or away? You play the bottom people in the league. Where's those wins come from? Through 18 games, it bounces out pretty well. It'll never be an even bounce out because it's not a round robin. You don't play everybody twice. So it's different through 18 games. I've always had a stat. We do this. It's a +1, -1. If you win at home, that's a 0. If you win on the road, it's +1. Lose on the road, it's -1. If you lose at home, it's -1. If you keep up your stats that way, that's the best way to keep up this team's +4 at this point. This team's +2. But again, don't start doing that a little bit later on. So, but I've seen enough of the league to know who's the best teams in this league so far.
You think Middle Tennessee's an at-large team at this point?
Well, I'll say this, and I said this after the middle game, and I'll still say it, and that's not to put no pressure on nobody. It's what I think about their team. I think if they were in the SEC, I think they're the third best team in the SEC. You know, how would you back that up on any stats? Only stats you could basically say was this. They played Vanderbilt at home, beat Vanderbilt, I think 24 points. Vandy just went to Florida and won. They went on the road at Ole Miss. I know they had Ole Miss down 30 at one time, ended up beating them 18 at Ole Miss. So those are two games in the SEC that they just didn't win. They won handily. I think they got great experience. I think they got good players. I think the Williams kid, probably somebody didn't play last year. You know, right now I think he's the best player on the best team right now in this league. They got good rhythm what they do. They defend you, and I think offensively they got enough weapons, and you know, the little freshman point guards gotten better, capable of making shots for them. You know, UAB down there on the road, I guess, dropped one at Florida National. Probably a little surprising, but again, you know, never easy on the road. That's why I say middles separate themselves from everybody else right there.
Kind of bounce off that, you talked about the conference. Has it maybe in your first year kind of surprised you maybe how tough some of these teams are? Is it kind of what you were maybe expecting going?
You know, I knew enough about the league, players-wise. I don't know if it's, you know, I hadn't seen Middle and UAB play in person the last couple of years. After playing them, no question, you know, UAB had a SEC back front court with those guys, you know, Lee and Coakley and Menden, what's his name? Mahanty. Those guys are SEC type frontline guys. You know, the Williams kid was at Arkansas. He was just a piece. You know, they didn't go to him. They played. He just got a little bit more scattered, and no question, he's a athletic big guy that can put it down and score. And you know, Upshaw's a versatile type of player that can shoot it and post you and handle it. I mean, those guys are good. You know, Marshall was you know, I've heard about their style, and you know, they're right. They're going to fire it up, and when that ball starts going in for them, they're really good. You know, can they do that on the road consistently? That's probably the challenge their coach has with their team. At home, they're going to be pretty good right there, because you know, they're going to make a lot of shots at home, and they're hard to beat when they make them shots. You guys were there last week, witnessed that the second half. You know, Elmore got them going and makes 4 threes in about 4 minutes, totally separated the game.
The way the bench has played lately, are you almost tempted to start playing the starters about 35, 37 minutes again? Or how do you kind of strike that balance there?
Oh, it's a tough balance, but it's a good question. I mean, are we better off playing starters through fatigue versus rolling the dice a little bit, in particular on the road? Because it don't take about 3 or 4 possessions, as you just witnessed again, to allow a team to get back in the game or to separate a game. You know, where's that balance at? It's you know, Weed County's settled in, playing some of those guys 6, 8, 10 minutes a game. It's not easy to experiment and hope, look back and hope it works on the road. At home, sometimes you can survive it a little bit better. But like I say, we got up 14 early in that game. You know, and basically when things are going really well, you don't want to sub. I mean, you don't want to. Things are going well, but you're forced to. And you know, I kind of kept it from happening as long as I could. And it was even, I think it was 1 sub before the 15-minute mark. Then got a couple in there and end up with them all in there, trying to get them all in there and get them back out before the 12-minute mark. But it was a 7-possession stretch. There were 7 possessions we had offensively. The first 6 minutes, we had 0 turnovers. In a 2.5 minute stretch, we had 3 turnovers. One of them was a 3-second call, and then we went 0 for 4 from the field. Then a couple layups and a couple, just missed shots, and that's tough on the road. They came down that same stretch, hit 3 threes and a 2. It was 11-0. It was 11-0 run right there, real quick. Before I got them all in there, I think we had lost. They'd hit a 3 to cut it back to 11. So we need our bench to help us. So we need them to add to. But that's a good question. Wish I had a true answer to it. Some nights it's the other way. Bench has really been good for us. Which night it is, like I say, it's kind of a roll of the dice a little bit. Do they add to this game or they don't add to?
Anything else?
Coach, you also talked about the benefits of coming home and playing a few games, but you also think a little bit of benefit, getting a little bit of rest after that sub-conference stretch.
Well, I don't know about rest. It's good to be back home. We knew it was going to be a tough stretch, those three teams. All 3 were good teams, and it was a tough stretch, But I found some positive things to take from all 3 games after playing them all. And again, I try to find silver linings. At the middle game, we got hit in the mouth early in that game, got down early, fought back to halftime, got 14. In the second half, basically outscored them. Hit a basket late to make it, but played them even second half there. Marshall, we came out at Marshall and probably as good as 5 minutes you could play, offensively and defensively. I think it was 22-8 the first 5 minutes of the game. Then after that, we had a bad 3-minute stretch, and from there on, it was even again. We have trouble maintaining any type of toughness for 40 minutes. And again, even the first 4 minutes at Marshall, it's a 2-point game, 16-minute mark. And, it was a 3-point game. They hit a 3. It's a 3-point game. Come out at timeout, it's 6 points in. Call another timeout. Then they come out with a 6-point lead. We turn it over once and miss a shot. And they hit 2 threes in a row. And it goes from 6 to 12 in about 30 seconds. And again, it don't take long on the road. So my point is, what hurt us the second half up there, the first half we controlled. We didn't get beat in transition threes a lot. We kept the ball out of the paint from a standpoint of creating for other people those threes. The second half, we didn't do that. Elmore got in that lane. We got a little bit concerned pressing up on him because he's going around us. The first half, it wasn't a problem. So I don't know if it was fatigue, but whatever it was, we just couldn't maintain it. So I got to find a way to help them maintain more good minutes through 40 minutes, hiding some things that we don't seem to do very well for 40 minutes. We'll do some things pretty well for 20 minutes time, 25 minutes, but, again, you got to play for 40 minutes. And I got to find ways to keep helping us hide some things somehow that gives us the best chance to compete for 40 minutes against the best teams. And that's what we got to keep whittling down, keep finding a way to fine-tune a little bit that gives our team the best chance.
Working on a piece for Pancake and how he takes care of his body and working out and his diet. Have you ever had a player that does that? How do you see how that affects his performance on the court and just in general?
Pancake, probably my 30-some-odd years coaching, whatever it's been. Never had a player that takes care of his body like Pancake. A young man that has been so disciplined in what he eats, You know, you hear a lot of people talk about, well, I'm going to do away with red meat. Well, that lasts about a month. We've all probably said that, huh? Drive by Outback, you want a steak. Well, this young man, you know, during the recruiting process, found, Coach, I gave up all red meats and chickens and all that a year ago, whatever. And he has literally done that now. We have pregame meal. You know, he's got to get we give him a different piece of salmon or something. But he is consistently conscious of what he does with his body every day. He gets up, he gets him a workout in most days before practice even. He spends time in that training room, in that ice tub. But that's why he's gotten better. I mean, that's one guy, in every way, he's gotten a lot better from day one. Standpoint of ability to defend, how he practices. Every day he's become a guy that gives you everything. He's got every possession. I couldn't have said that 3 months ago. But I think all that goes hand in hand. You know, his attitude about things, the way he takes care of his body. He does it all the same way, and he's been really, really good. And he's going to finish up having a strong last half of the season for us. I believe that. Got a question? You didn't ask me a question. Give me one.
Well, Coach,
Got to be a good one now. If it's not a good one, you ain't gonna get another one.
I guess the big thing is now that you're home for for 7 out of your last 11, does
Yeah.
that give you guys any more confidence knowing you're 6-1 at home already, 8-1 if you count the 2 exhibition games?
Well, you know, I don't look at the stats that way. I think any team would say we prefer to play at home. You know, but I know this too, being at home don't guarantee anything. If you start thinking you got, you know, a sense of security just being there, you'll get in trouble in a hurry. I mean, you got to approach them all the same way. Like I say, biggest game of the year is always that next one. It happens to be at home these next 2. So, you know, we need to find a way, dig our heels back in. Like I say, we just come off a 3-game tough stretch. We got to dig our heels back in here at home now and find a way to, you know, take care of business these next couple games. And it starts with, you know, a very good, upbeat UTEP team right now that's playing their best basketball of the year. Randy, got a question?